We are currently live. So, welcome, brothers and sisters. My light is a bit off on YouTube, but bear with me. Because we are still focusing for the message to reach. We don't have lighting system yet, but yeah, thank you very much. So we are live on today's session.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, my brother Yek. Welcome.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, my brother. How are you doing?
Man, all praises to the Most High. Did you guys do the prayer already?
Yeah, we already did the prayer. Yeah, we already did the prayer, brother.
Okay, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, my brother.
Okay. Any quick question to start with?
Yes, I do have one question, my brother. So in regards to the land of Canaan, not the one in sub-Saharan Africa, but the other land of Canaan, the original allotted one that is for us. My question is, when we talk about locations, one thing is just another question I had is, the animals mentioned in Scripture are mostly found in Africa. In Jerusalem, you have the lions that were seen within the vicinity of Jerusalem, so much so that when the temple was built by Solomon, they used a lion as one of the animals to represent, obviously Yehuda, the tribe of Judah. So my question is, when we talk about giraffes, we talk about elephants, we talk about lions, we talk about, even like the wild dogs in Africa, I have a hard time kind of really still understanding this other location that, you're presenting. And I'm not against it or nothing, but I'm just trying to understand what the context of, African animals, our people walking from Canaan to sub-Saharan Africa, or walking to Egypt or Kemet or Mitzrayim, Messiah and his family fleeing, taking a few days journey to get to Egypt, or even, the fact that the sons of Jacob during the famine, they walked from Canaan. So, yeah, if you could deal with those, I'd be grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. It's a very good question, and it's in today's topic. So it's a very good question. And without wasting time, let me dive.
Wonderful.
Yeah, let me dive on it. Let me dive in it. So it's like this, brother. Concerning the animals which are in sub-Sahara, they correlate more with the animals which were written in the biblical times. We have to know this thing, brother. My position, which I'm defending here, I want it to be clear. There are two lands of Canaan. The biblical land of Canaan is not sub-Sahara, but this is also another land of Canaan, which Canaan was allotted to but never dwelt. So your question is, it is hard for people to believe because of these new doctrines which are saying, we call it the Netanyahu love. And why do we call it the Netanyahu love? We call it to honor Ron Dalton. He's very heavy in this, and other brothers like who brought that doctrine. What does it mean by Netanyahu love? It is loving so much the land than the people, focusing on the mountains, the animals, and many things of the land, and not looking even at the people in the Bible. Looking at the Bible, say it's corrupt. Looking at the people, say they are Hamites. But looking at the land, oh, this is the land of the Bible. So we are in Africa now. People are calling it the Netanyahu love because it's the love Netanyahu had in the biblical land of Israel. He loved the land of God, of Israel, of the biblical Israel, but he hates the people there. So he's killing them, so as he can relocate there. So I'll dive in to give you evidence why the animals correlate. The Bible has listed animals, but we have to know to understand the Bible, who was listing those animals and when. Let's start with the animals which were listed in the time of Moses. Everybody knows Moses never even once set foot at the biblical Israel, not even one time. So using the animals which were used by Moses, were written by Moses, it will be even absurd because Moses, not even 1 foot did Moses take to Israel, to the biblical Israel. He even begged God to reach the land of Israel, but God didn't allow that. So all he did, he went to a mountain and then he looked at the land of Israel. What does that mean? That can never be used to say all the animals written by Moses were because he saw them in the land, because Moses lived in where? Ethiopia, which is the continent, Egypt, he lived in Midian. So if people are using Moses as a reference, that should all remove him from context. The other animals, take an example, they are using the animal like the ones written in Job.
My brother, I'm sorry to cut you off. I wanted to actually interject before I forget.
Okay.
I wasn't referring to Moses in regards to some of these animals. Like I said, for example, if you look at Solomon's time, all right, even the guy that was killed by a lion, like the Israelite came up to another Israelite and he said, "In the name of the Most High, you strike me in my face," and he refused to do it, and the Most High sent a lion after him, and the lion ate him. So what I'm saying is, there were lions in Jerusalem. Like,
yeah,
even in Solomon and David's time, there were lions walking around Jerusalem. So I'm not talking about Moses.
I understood your question, brother. Just give me time to answer. But I understood your question. I'm going there. I'm just building now the answer. So we already established that all the animals written by Moses cannot make even one of a point of those animals which were in the biblical Israel. Now come to the animals like the lion. The same verse which wrote the lion wrote the bear. The same verse which people use of saying they are lions, which I think is also Isaiah, and there's another one which will come, the lions came. It's the same verse which bears were there, but there's no bears in Africa. So the same verse, let me quote it actually. The good news is the same verse which was used to explain the lions, it is the same verse which was used to explain the bears. That means it is a tie in the times of animal. It is a tie because you don't find bears in Africa the same way you don't see lions in where? In the Middle East. So we go to the other big point. Where are lions located? And where are these other animals? Take an example, brother. The other animal, I want now to answer your question, but I want to finish this big point. The other animals people use are the animals which are written by Job. But people will also ask, where is Leviathan? Because when you are using the animals of Job, Job even mentioned Leviathan. So the land of Israel, we have to find even Leviathan. But some even go further to say the rhinoceros, the unicorn is mentioned. There's no unicorn in Africa. Unicorn meaning I saw Ron Dalton saying unicorn are the rhinoceros. The rhinos in Africa, all of them have 2 horns. Are in Asia. And now, pardon? Pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to respond to you. So I know you're still finishing, but I try to, kind of interject when I have questions. Okay, so here's the thing. In the Bible, in the Septuagint, I don't use the KJV. I think the KJV is just terrible, in my personal opinion. I use the Septuagint because the Septuagint was translated by actual Israelites, not Ashkenazi Jewish liars, okay? So, in Septuagint, it has the word giraffe, okay? It literally says giraffe. When you translate the Greek to the English, it says giraffe. Now, if you look at the KJV Masoretic Bible, they have it as some unknown animal nobody's ever heard of. You look it up, you won't find it. But when you look in the Septuagint, which is more accurate than the KJV, written hundreds and hundreds of years before the KJV, it has giraffe. So, in regards to, you mentioned the bear. Yes, that is true. But if you look at Africa, there was once a bear, a type of bear that was in Africa that was wiped out by, the white man, the children of Edom. So there have been bears at one time, and I'm not trying to use that as a basis of my argument that to reject what you're saying. I'm just saying historically, there have been bears at one time in Africa.
That's a very good point. And let me interject and finish the answer. You have given out even the answer of the lions, because If the same verse which explained being lions and bears, and now the bears you say were in Africa and now we're washed out, the same reasoning is that how now is it impossible for the lions in that land of Middle East to be washed away? Is it, are lions immune and bears are not immune to be washed away? So that's, first of all, you have already gave up. You have gave up also. You have helped even me in my answer, but my answer is not that. But even that logic, if you go with it, because everybody of who is defending that is not in the position which we are, that there are two lands of Canaan. He's insisting the biblical land is Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, and this the Middle East was never our land. That person must say the bear were exterminated, but he's failing to give people chance to say the lions in the Middle East were exterminated. Let me go to the giraffe. Giraffe was written in Deuteronomy 14, chapter 2. It is written in Deuteronomy 14, chapter 2, in the same Septuagint which you say, because you say I'm not using KJV, you are using the Septuagint. So let's go to the Septuagint. The giraffe was written in Deuteronomy 14, verse 2. That is why I started by putting this we call foundation first. It is Deuteronomy, the book written by Moses. Moses is a person who never once set foot in the land of Israel. So Moses saying a giraffe is not an evidence of it being in the land of Israel, because this is the book of Deuteronomy 14, chapter 2. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2. And that's why I knew I have to start with this foundation, because I know where you guys pass. All those people, I know where they pass. And you have answered for me the issue of the lion. I don't even have to answer more, but I will answer because I have all those answers, because our position is superior. You know, the two land position is more superior than any other position. Why? Because when these animals, and here now I want to clarify the meaning of El Kabulan. Most of people have done grave sin. Even I respect most of the people, they love to say Al Kabulan meaning all Africa, and saying the Garden of Eden is meaning all Africa. No, brothers and sisters. You can just open Jubilees chapter 8, verse 15 and read it. You'll see. Africa, the part of Africa which is in Eden, starts from the river Gihon, going to the east. So the river Gihon is the Blue Nile going to the whole Nile, going to Mediterranean. That is the river Gihon. Now going east of that land, now that is the Garden of Eden. That land was called Elda, and now people have used to say El Kabulan. El Kabulan is not the whole of Africa, no. Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, is called Arsareth. So those, if you study now the book of Jubilees, not only the animals, even Adam, the soil which was used to create him was taken from this land of Elda. Because Adam was not born in the Garden of Eden, the same Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden has layers. They are like how the temple had layers to the Holy of Holies. So the Garden of Eden has layers too. So what happened is Adam was created in this land of Elda, which is the land from the Gihon, which the Gihon has said is the Nile, starting from the Blue Nile, going east. So all the animals were created from that land there, that area there. So by nature, lions and all other animals, elephants and all other animals had this. Oh, my network is checking in WhatsApp. My WhatsApp network is very shaky. I don't know why. Let me try to use. Sorry for people of YouTube. I need to reconnect with my people in WhatsApp. We have time, so no worries. We are trying to reconnect back. Okay. 1 minute. But yeah, we were just explaining the two lands of Canaan. The biblical land of Canaan the land which Canaan stole, as it is written in Jubilees, chapter 10, verse 28 to 37, 34. That biblical land was stated clearly is from Lebanon to the entrance of Egypt. It is there in Middle East. But the land of Canaan, which he was allocated to go, but he never went, is now the land of Canaan from Kenya to South Africa, going all the way to Morocco, sub-Sahara. That is written explicitly in the book of Jubilees, chapter 9, verse 1. If you read it, we have already explained it even in the interview with Something Nice with Dinano. So it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem to understand that. So there was a question here from my brother. We're trying to reconnect. He was asking now. He still had to believe. And it's not hard to believe because it is difficult. No, it's because now this, we call them people coming with Netanyahu love. They love Africa so much. They love the land of sub-Saharan Africa so much, but they don't love the people of sub-Saharan Africa so much. So they want to say the land of sub-Sahara is the biblical land of Israel, but the people are Hamites. So we call it Netanyahu love just because of that resemblance. You remember Netanyahu loves so much the land of there at Middle East, but he hates the people who found there. So if the same people, brothers who are coming from diaspora, are creating that doctrine, resembling the same pattern of Netanyahu. So people in the continent have already started calling them the people with Netanyahu love. They love the land more than the people. They are defending the land to be the biblical land of Israel, but saying the people are not the biblical people of Israel. So they are calling Africans now Hamites and saying the land is the biblical land of Israel. Yeah, so we are helping them now. We are elaborating on that because still my network is awful, it's very bad. I'm trying to reconnect with them. So we bear with me, but I was giving you the context. I was giving you guys the context. So as we're waiting for them to reconnect, so as you can give them the answer, that is now the frame. Oh, sorry, now I see you have reconnected, but I was still live in YouTube. The network in WhatsApp is very horrible. So please, some of you can go to the YouTube live and you'll be watching me there because it is getting very bad in WhatsApp. So I was answering you, my brother Yek. The same verse of giraffe, it's written in Deuteronomy, nowhere else. Because it's written in Deuteronomy, you are speaking about Moses, who never once set foot of Israel. So how can you use an evidence to show it's the biblical land of Israel? But now this is the answer I was giving. You have to read the book of Jubilees, guys. Nobody will understand the full meaning of what Moses wrote without studying the book, the other book which Moses wrote, the book of Jubilees. That's why even the calendar, people will always go wrong in the calendar if you don't read the book of Jubilees. So you have to go to the book of Jubilees, and it is easy. There's this land, this land which is now the from the east of the river Nile, going not to the White Nile. You're not going to Uganda. You are going now to Ethiopia, the Blue Nile, then carry on forward to Egypt, that Nile. That east part of Nile, it was called Goshen. People think Goshen is just a small part in Egypt. No, Goshen was the whole part between the Gihon and the Pishon. Now, this is another revelation you have to learn. The Red Sea is the biblical Pishon, which busted to become a sea in the times of the flood of Noah. But this is a topic for another day. So the word Goshen comes from the two roots, Gihon River and Pishon River. You get Goshen. So that area of Goshen, which starts from the Blue Nile, going to the White Nile, the east of it, going to the Mediterranean, which called the Sea of Reeds or the Red Sea. Now that was the area called Elda, the land called Elda. That land was the land which God took the soil to create all the animals and also Adam. And because the animal was created in that same location, that area, even when the ark it's called the Ark of Noah, went and settled at Ararat. And why was it settling in Turkey? Yes, it settled at Turkey. There's a reason. Turkey is a strategic position, is a strategic land where going west of it, you are going now to Italy and the lands of Japhet. the lands of Japhet. Staying there in Turkey, now it marks the lands of Shem from there going eastward. Then going upper north is still the continuation of the land of Japhet, because Japhet was given the whole lands. You see, from Russia to Europe, that was the lands of Japhet. But what was the border? The border was the land of Turkey. That's why the ark, which when it was starting to be built, was there in the land of Elder. Because when Adam was chased out of Eden, I'll even give you the route which was used to be chased. Adam was chased from Eden via the route which the Israelites used now to enter the land of the biblical Israel. What do I mean? Study Joshua chapter 3, verse 16. You will see the same location on the river Jordan. It opened. The river Jordan stopped, and then the Israelites passed to enter the land of biblical Israel, because that land was the land of Eden. You know, there's the Garden of Eden and the Eden. So, in the Garden of Eden has now the holies of holies, the place where the tree of life was. The tree of life was the same place where the temple was built, where the Ark of the Covenant was kept, the holies of holies. And the tree of life and death, of knowledge of good and bad, which Adam ate and died, was in Golgotha, the place where Jesus was crucified. And in fact, this is now another revelation you have to know. And I'll give you scripture and evidence. Adam was buried in that same land, Golgotha. When and how, I'll give you the story when I finish this answering of these animals. So these animals the soil was used from there, the land of Elder, which is it's called Goshen. People think Goshen is in Egypt. Goshen is from the Blue Nile to Egypt. Just say the east of the Nile. So the animals, when the mountain stayed on Ararat, they started migrating back to their lands, because animals have this pattern. We have them here. The place which you are saying the animals are is here now in our place, Tanzania. Most of them are in Tanzania and Kenya, Serengeti, Ngorongoro. So what happened is the animals came back now to Elder, which is the east. It's Goshen. And that's why even Joseph told the Israelites when they came to Egypt, these Egyptians are farmers. They hate animals. So you go to Goshen with your animals, because that's the only way you not quarrel with the Egyptians. So the Israelites were in Goshen. Goshen is not that small place. No, Goshen was all the way to the Blue Nile, but you're not going now further to you are not separate. You are not crossing the Lake Tana going now down. No, you are not going to Ethiopia. So that whole area was Goshen. Is the place where the Israelites even grazed their animals. So those animals in the times of the ark, all those, the lions you are saying, and all other animals, came back to their original land. But what happened is the first empires to be big empires are the Cushites, the Hamites, the Egyptians. What do we know about people, empires and people? Development chases away animals. Development is the first reason for migration of animals. So because Egypt became a very big empire, and it made those animals now to go down. They went beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, the same place the biblical Israelites, came. They went to a place, they now follow the water, because they are, the animals are not concerned with lands like you and me. They are concerned about water and pastures. And if the animals which are eating pastures are fat, those carnivores to eat those other animals which are already now fat. So the Nile was the only way down to go, because they couldn't go up again, because going up most of the time there's salty water. So most of the animals as the empires are going and growing. And why do I mean by the empire growing? It is matters of ages. It is now the time which you are calling them seen in those areas. That means they were still there. By the way, there are still lions in India today. Asia still lions, has still rhinos. The unicorn, first of all, the unicorn which is written in the Bible, which is one-horned animal, it is the rhinoceros. Ron Dalton said it well. But one fact he said, I can say even shamelessly, because he was in the screen live and said, this is reality. There's only the one-horned, the unicorn is the rhinoceros. He was right. Then he went on and said, it is found only in Africa. My brother, I am living in these lands. Our village is surrounded with these animals. There's no one-horned rhinoceros. They have two horns, all of them. Google there, you have AIs. He was speaking a straight out lies in cameras, but because people don't know how to debug these people, because they have this fear, they just believe anything Ron Dalton said. Nobody even took the phone to Google. Is there one-horned animal in one-horned rhino in Africa? I give you challenge, all everybody who is watching me right now. Search in your AIs, in your search engine, and go now to see the lies of Ron Dalton. He said this in a show, and nobody even called it. Even the person he was debating with, I say, how this person, yes, is Goliath in this doctrine, but you really need a David to kill him. He's bringing false doctrine confidently, and everybody's afraid of him. He's calling, making the Lord of Israel be seen like he's not organized. So what I said is, okay, when I get a chance, I'll say this. I thank God I had a chance today. And when I get a chance, I'll say it also. So what happened is, I see my network in WhatsApp is playing. Google everybody. Search it in your websites. Search it in your search engines. Find one, only one, not even two. One unicorn rhino. That will make Ron Dalton to be true. But you'll not find it in Africa. You'll find it in India and Nepal. What does that say? These animals were scattered. The biblical animals, you can't say they're in Sub-Sahara. When you're defending the land of Sub-Sahara, defend it. When you're defending the land of Sub-Sahara, defend it not by your own interpretation, but by faithfulness to the scripture. Because you can see the clips, and because it's recorded and technology never forgets. Everybody go and search that clip in Something Nice of Dunano, where Ron Dalton was saying there's one unicorn in Sub-Saharan Africa, and Google. If you find there's one unicorn in Sub-Saharan Africa, you'll know the spirit of Ron Dalton is true. But behold, you can't find it. You'll find the unicorn is in India, is in Nepal, the one-horned rhino. So what does that say? If we believe this is a land of Bible because of that unicorn or the biblical animals, now we have a problem. Because I finished this. Okay, welcome, Yek. Welcome. Speak. Unmute your mic and speak. I see you have raised your hand.
Okay, so I feel like for the most part, you answered the question. I get what you're saying, but one thing I would say to you in regards to this information is you do have a lot of information. But one thing I would say is now that you have a YouTube channel, our people need to see a little more than just what you're saying. And I'm not like knocking you or nothing. I'm just saying, like me, for example, on my channel, I show receipts. I show history, I show books, I show articles, I show proof. So if you need help with that, you know what I'm saying? Like if you need help with like doing presentations to show more receipts, because people will hear what you're saying and you got the scriptures, you know the scriptures, you know Jubilees, that's amazing. But people also need more evidence, more things that can back up what you're saying besides just, okay, well, this is what, you know, this means and that's what that means. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to reject what you're saying. I'm going to look into it a little bit more myself. But I would just say that when you're bringing out this information, it's important to also have receipts and, you know, pieces of information you can share to corroborate what you're saying. But
Yes.
with that said, I get you. Now, one more thing before I go. Another question that I had is, you told last time I asked you about who the Hamites were, and you kind of helped me understand better who they are. Biblical Japhet, because here's the thing. A lot of Europeans like to say that they are the original Japhites, but the problem with that is all the original inhabitants of Europe were darker skinned people. You know what I'm saying? If you look at like the Aboriginal people, if you look at people of the Solomon Islands, so on and so forth. So my question is, who is Japhet today?
Okay.
Or who was the original Japhet? Was Japhet
Okay,
whited out?
first, yeah, thank you, my brother. First of all, you said the truth. I'm still new in this technology stuff, YouTube. I'm learning as it goes. So I am saying raw as it is, and please, the receipts I'm giving, because I'm giving also the scriptures, the verses. But I know people. I'm also telling you to Google on your own. I know people. You love to be given the receipts here, like to be a presentation. I'm trying now to learn Zoom meeting. I'll be doing that, but still until that time, let's just carry on with what we have. Like Moses, you use what you have. I have just this stick in hand. I use it to build the ocean and walk through. So coming now to the issue of Japhet. Thank you, my brother, for bringing that question. Even though it's out of the topic today, for the respect I have for you, I will answer you because I will not run away in any question. So, my brothers and sisters, even if today's topic will cut a little bit out of what we said, Venus, please naomba mute mic yako. Naomba mute mic, Venus. Anybody who joined, please mute your mic because you are live and the noise sound is interfering. Venus, mute your mic, my brother. Mute your mic, my brother Venus. Okay. Let me answer one person, then I'll give you a chance, Omami. So, Japhet are the Native American. You know what? This is what the One West camp have failed. And now let me give you receipts. These are the receipts. Please just Google on your own. I don't have a presentation, I know, yes. But please, my brothers and sisters, go to the book of Jubilees. Go to chapter 8. Look at the two final chapters there. It is written, the land of Japhet, which was given. It was a big land in the north and 5 big islands. So Japheth's land are now, first of all, it's one big land in the north, which is from the whole of Europe and Russia. And then the 5 islands, which are they? Greenland, Iceland, North America, South America, and there's an island, a great island above Norway. It's called Sval. I can't Svarld. Go Norway, look above, you'll see a big island. Those who say great islands. What happened is Esau, when he was blessed by the sword, he went to take the lands of Japheth. Like how Jacob came and took the lands of Canaan. We are now living in the lands of Ham. Sub-Sahara is the land of Ham. It was a land which Canaan was given. You know, Ham had 4 sons, so he was given the whole of Africa, but he divided it among his sons. The portion of Sub-Sahara, written in Jubilees 9:1, went to the son Canaan. But Canaan did not want to come to this land. He went to stay at the land on Middle East, which was allocated to Shem, our forefather. So Abraham went there, and later on the Israelites went there. We killed him and made him slave. And also, because in the Torah, if you steal something, you pay it 7-fold. So he paid it also by we taking also this land of Sub-Sahara. So all the lands of Canaan are ours. There are 2 lands of Canaan. The Middle East is our land. This Sub-Sahara is our land. The only issue to clarify is the biblical time. We were not dwelling here in Sub-Sahara, no. The biblical time we were dwelling there in the Middle East. Then, after now we have corrupted the Torah, we were chased away from that land. Now then we came here as exile. When, how is did that happen? It is written in 2nd Esdras 13:40-45. The land of Arsareth now is Sub-Sahara. Ar means sub, Sareth means Sahara. That is clear, biblical, and it's in the best position. We have 2 lands, spacious, big. The animals are in our side. Everything is spacious. The problem comes if people want to contradict, want to bring competition between the biblical land of Canaan and this of the biblical land of Israel and this land, trying to just establish one of that. That now the problem starts. And that's the problem with Netanyahu loves, because don't think those people are fighting wars because that land is just desert. No, they know. Because nobody could fight war for a desert. That's the biblical land. Our temples were built there. And without our temple being restituted there, we can pray as much as we want in these lands of with the animals which we are with here, but it won't help anything. But thank God the temples were created, the 2 temples, the 2nd temple, our King Jesus came and completed the sacrifice, and he will come again with a new Jerusalem from heaven. So that's clear. So now I'm diverting to answer my brother, who are the children of Japhet. I said they are the Native Americans. How do I know that? Where are the receipts? You can go to the book of Joshua. You'll see Edomites, through Zepho, went and made a union with Chittim, being the land which is the lands of Japhet. So in the beginning, yes, there were Japhethite there. But do you think when Esau was given the blessing of the sword, it was to disappear like just like that? No. The sword, you are seeing Esau right now operating with that sword. He even went just weeks before to Venezuela to take one of the children of Japheth, because these Latin Americans, in generality now, they are the Japhethites. Some of them, yes, intermarried because of the raping in the times of the colonialism, but in the totality now, the Latin America, the Latino, Hispanic, Native America, those people which the one West camp like to call them Israelites, they are the Japhethites. And the problem starts because they cannot now find Japheth, because they have already given Japheth, they have already given them the type of Israel. That's why Ron Dalton is kicking them always, because you can never, if someone asks you who are the Japhethites, you'll never say, because you have already started calling the Japhethites Ephraim. When Ephraim, I'm here speaking, Ephraim is in Africa. I'm from the tribe of Ephraim. There are a lot of Ephraim in Africa, 10,000 of Ephraim. It's written in Deuteronomy 33, chapter verse 17. Go read your books. Yes, I don't have a presentation, but you have your Bible. Please open Deuteronomy 33, verse 17. You'll see 10,000 of Ephraim. There are 10,000 of tribes in Africa. So it's either the Bible is false or the One West doctrine is false. And always the Bible is not false. So what happened to Japheth now? They are not in Europe. What happened now that Japheth is not in Europe, but is now in, oh, my network is very bad. My network is getting bad, so forgive me. So what happened now? That Japhet is no longer in Europe. Is now in Latin America. The sword, my brother, the sword. Even you, if someone comes with a sword to your home, you run from your home. So Esau went and took Europe. And because Esau is greedy, he did not feel satisfied. Japhet ran to the Americas. Esau followed him to the Americas. He took North America. Still, Esau is not satisfied. Japhet ran into South America. Esau is not satisfied. He is now going now to also South America. As we are speaking,